And if I have to watch your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS. She's putting me out there as like a sexual predator.
Karen.
She came up, reached her hands, her cold hands went up my skirt, and I felt her hands up my skirt.
I was honestly thinking she was a minor, and she should probably keep it covered because of the kids that were.
Remember this?
I have been to work for the state, and if I have to watch your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS.
Do it.
So I will.
Yeah, go for it right now.
She's over 18.
She is 19 years old.
Her butt cheeks.
You don't
You don't get to touch
We're
her.
all sitting over
You
there.
don't get to touch her.
Yeah,
Then
I
don't
do.
look. Come up and talk to her. But you do not get to touch her.
Really?
We would love for you to call the police.
Stop looking at people.
Go ahead and call the police.
Why are you
No, it's not appropriate.
If not, let's get you caught up. In April 2024, this TikTok went viral, reaching over 14 million views to date and landing this woman in hot water after she allegedly pulled a teenager's skirt down at a restaurant in St. George, Utah. But what you may not have seen is what happened after the viral video, where this so-called Karen faced the consequences of her actions and wasn't exactly happy about it. We join the suspect, identified as 49-year-old Ida Lorenzo, as she arrives at the police station complaining about those exact consequences.
Hello, are you Ida?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Good.
Good to meet you. So, these little girls have continued to incite a mob, and I've been harassed all day. Not only did they took it down from St. George Post and her Facebook, but now she put it on Instagram, and now she put it on TikTok.
Okay.
No, I remember you looked at my Instagram account, and they've been harassing me all day. So I turn notifications off and everything, but they are trying to reach out to they're inciting someone that reaches out for personal information to people to get their personal information, or someone that is known to like hunt people down.
Okay. Like FBI?
Not FBI, but someone that can, I don't know, what do you?
It's just a person that will either reach out to communities or through various ways they are able to obtain information and they share it.
As like a
to
private
people to
investigator?
achieve.
Yeah, as a private.
Whether the goal is to get somebody fired, to something like that. It's they
continue to tag this guy and reach out to this guy to find it, my personal private information.
Sure.
And all of my stuff is usually private anyway. I don't normally disseminate my stuff out there. But in this particular situation, I told them who I was because not only were there minors involved that were all seated around me, but my son was present as well. And so that's the only reason why I was like, listen, charges can happen. You're hanging out, your private parts are hanging out in private in front of minors. That's not something that you should take lightly, cover up. But it doesn't give them the right to disseminate my information publicly like that and to try to harass me to the extent that I've been having it. I believe I'm 100% in believing in freedom of speech but when you omit, delete, and make it seem like one situation is totally different than the other, and then accuse me of sexual harassment without the facts, at some point, something needs to be done. It needs to be stopped.
Ida, who called police multiple times, was asked to come into the station to present her side of the story when she shares that she's unhappy with the online backlash of the video.
And it's because she's putting me out there as a sexual predator.
Karen. Just
The hard part is, even if it's edited and made it deleted, obviously you could be looking at slander if it's not completely true, but the fact that you did touch her skirt, she can claim, if she wants, she can claim sexual battery, right? Mm-hmm. She hasn't. There's no legal investigation right now on either of you. Nobody's in trouble right now for any of that stuff, but it would have to be founded, right, on both ends, right? We know that you saw this, but we don't have any video evidence of her hanging out. We don't have any witnesses that have come forward and said this is what's happening other than I only have your account.
Because most of them were men, and I forwarded you a text message of the person that was with me that was a male, and it was I would be arrested in a nanosecond if I was sexually accused of touching someone inappropriately.
Oh yeah,
right?
Not touching. I just mean they saw the witnesses come forward There's documentation for it, that kind of thing.
But because of the sensitivity of the nature, and everyone thought she was a minor because she did look like a minor, and there was a ton of kids. It was the high school ball.
Did you think she was a minor?
Yes, I did. I actually thought she was, and that's why I was like,
I just don't understand.
So he
I
got
don't understand why you
charged.
went up and touched her.
I didn't touch her as a person. Like,
I mean, you confronted. But you see how that looks, right?
I got a standing ovation from everyone that was seating behind me.
That's totally
because I
beside the point legally.
covered-
Ida goes on to say she allegedly got a, quote, standing ovation for touching the young woman, but that doesn't exactly add up with other witnesses' stories we'll hear later.
A kid by touching another kid.
It's protecting a kid by covering their private parts.
Correct, but that's not your job to do.
Well, they weren't covering up, and
Call us. That's what I was trying to tell you.
I was trying to. You could see me on the video
You
trying
told
to
me that
dial
it
the
would
phone.
take too long for us to get there, so you did.
No, that's what But I was trying to dial you guys, but because they had everyone storming in, and you could see how they were being
They thought she was sexually battered. That's her claim.
No, that's her claim. That's her claim.
That's her claim. And all she knows is somebody grabbed her from behind.
No, because I told her that her parts were hanging out. And then when nothing was being done and all the little kids behind me were just staring, that's when I proceeded to cover. And I was trying to dial. I mean, you see me on the video where I have my phone in hand and I'm trying to dial, but I couldn't even dial. And then that's when the owner was coming up. So it's all
I understand that
perception.
there's inappropriateness with how she's dressed. I can totally understand that portion. I can understand that things got blown out of proportion, and I can understand your standpoint from it. But I guess, what do you want me to do?
Well, the post needs to come down and they need to
That's freedom of
stop.
speech. There's no crime.
Not when
They can say whatever they want.
No, but I mean, they're reaching me. I mean, all their little friends.
Have you told them to stop talking to you?
No, because.
Try that.
No, because then that is me instigating them.
The officer repeatedly tells Ida the post constitutes freedom of speech and he can't remove it, but she's not taking no for an answer.
Well, no, because I've obviously contacted. See, the problem is that people, they're under the perception that I, like, for no reason approached her. I just touched her inappropriately, right?
For sure.
And if I was a mom and my daughter came and told me those circumstances, I would be pissed and I would be contacting you, right? But because they haven't done that, they're not willing to, and I haven't, like, addressed it. I haven't approached it. I haven't said anything. I've been pretty silent.
That's the best way to approach it, because everything blows over. The more you incite it, the more it's gonna get views. It's gonna blow up. Then the problem you're gonna run into is if she comes to the department because of this and she decides that she wants to go sexual battery against you, it's going to be her word versus yours, and your word versus hers for the lewdness, and I'm going to end up submitting charges for both of you to an attorney for them to decide, because I wasn't there, I don't have witnesses, I don't have documentation, I have a video of that potentially is edited, I'm not going to use that as evidence, so that's what we could, I mean, each of you could equally be investigated right now.
Ida is told multiple times that she too could be charged in the case, but that's not stopping the 49-year-old.
And you're telling me that she was not wearing any underwear?
As we could see, yeah, exactly. We could see skin and everything, like, honestly.
Are you seeing the opening? Like, are you seeing actual form?
Yes, because we were actually seated and she was standing up and she was at a higher.
So you were under her?
Due to the shortness of her skirt, it was like this, and you could see everything open. And that's why I was like, so I stood behind her and I was like, go like this with my clothing, and I was like, you should probably cover up. And then at that point, she turned and she was like, like that, and I was like, oh my God. And that's when the dad was like, cover up, and then the mob rush of kids started coming in, and that's at that point where I was like, oh my God, like, you need to cover up. And that's when I pulled her skirt down to cover up, because instead of like covering up and backing up and saying, okay, is my skirt down? No, she proceeded to like lift her arms and move with her friends, and it kept going further up and further up, and that's why I was like, oh my God, somebody like cover it up. And as you can see, they were mob rushing at me as I was trying to stand behind her to cover her butt.
And the information they might have is that they think you're sexually assaulting them. They don't know, but that's what they're hearing.
Correct.
Let's pause for a moment and get a look at the outfit in question. The victim later told investigators she was wearing the outfit seen here with underwear and shorts underneath, which doesn't add up with Ida's story. Let's continue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dig anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah. I have no reason. These are little 18, 19-year-olds that haven't apparently learned that.
What's your biggest concern then? What's that you're gonna lose your job?
No, my biggest concern is someone's gonna end up at my front door because they are actually.
But you don't know if your address has been posted or anything.
I haven't looked into it because the more I look into it, the more I dig in, the more I look guilty, right? And so I haven't been wanting to instigate or do anything because it is such a delicate matter. They are accusing me of like sexually. Right? So the more that I play into it, the more that I dig into it, the more that it makes me look like a culprit of some sort or that I'm trying to hide and I haven't wanted to fuel this
I understand
in any way, shape, or form.
If something happens that is going to be unconstitutional or illegal, somebody does show up at your house, something weird happens, please call us. We will come out there. We can address that immediately. We can figure out why they're there, and if they're there because of the video, then we can start digging into different things, right? If that's the reason. It's like that same thing where people stormed the Capitol, right? Was it encouraged? Was it told that they should? Was it just interpreted that way? Who's on the hook for it? Way different political scheme, but something that's a little bit more interconnected.
No, but it's kind of the same situation, right? Because she's trying to incite, she's disseminating misinformation in the same manner. So if you look at the legal principle of what they're doing, the actions are the same.
But then it'll boil down to, did she actually say, this is what you should do?
Well, that's
right.
That's
if she's not telling people to go to the address and say this is where she lives, I mean,
then it's the people took their own action.
Correct.
But
it's a free speech market.
After comparing her situation to January 6th, Ida continues pressing the issue before the officer reminds her once again she's not exactly innocent in the ordeal.
Well, we did talk to the owner of the restaurant because I do know her. She knows us. And she was like, the problem is, she was like, I couldn't even kick her out because I couldn't see what you saw.
Right.
By the time that the whole group had come in, she had, at that point, not only had I pulled down her skirt, but she had actually, she was so embarrassed, she actually left everyone still standing there talking about it, associating it, and trying to get in my face. And I was like, stop her, I'm gonna call the police. And as soon as I said that, of course, the group moves down, and then they continue, and then that's when all the posting and everything. So I mean, they were, and the owner of the restaurant isn't going to deny that actually happened, and she pretty much said, if you guys don't stop, I'm going to ask all of you to leave. And at some point, she did say that, and then that's when they decided to leave. But
when it's all said and done, next time. We're on the same page. Sure, videos can be used as protection. That's what the whole purpose of why people video certain things.
Oh my God, but see,
with the sensitive nature, you couldn't tell whether or not she was a minor. You wouldn't want to video it.
That's my point.
At that point, then call them.
Call us. Totally.
Well, I was trying to dial the police, but the more that I grabbed my phone to try to dial, the more they came at me.
But they wouldn't have if you didn't touch your skirt. You know what I mean? Well, taking the action that you took is what caused this. That's what caused it to grow.
Let's take a look at another angle of the viral video.
Yeah, go for it right now. Over 18.
He is 19 years old.
Her, but
you don't get to touch her. You don't get to touch
we're all sitting over there.
Yeah, I do.
You do not get to touch her.
Really?
We would love for you to call the police. Go ahead and call the police.
Why are you calling the police?
Not appropriate.
I understand, but you're not allowed to touch someone's skirt. Really?
She's of age, you have no right to, it's a public place, you have no right to come out of your way and do this at all.
And if you don't do it, don't dress like that.
Just leave her alone.
Don't dress
Just
like
leave her
that.
alone.
It
You
has
have no
more to
right
do
to
than
go out
we're
and
at
do
a
that.
public restaurant.
100%.
We're all looking too, we're all dressed up.
with the windshield.
No, exactly.
And it has
So you have no right
nothing
to
to
say
do
anything.
with the index finger. You guys go
Who are you here with?
That's America. That's the country we're in. You should go sit down. Yeah, you really should go before you do. I live in the state of Utah. I know her kind of part. I'm so sorry. That's okay.
In this slightly longer version, we can see Ida being pulled away from the crowd as witnesses and bystanders stand up for the teen, a stark difference from the, quote, standing ovation she mentioned earlier. Next, multiple witnesses arrive at the police station when we hear the other side of this story.
She came up, reached her hands, her cold hands went up my skirt, and I felt her hands up my skirt, and then I felt like a tug. And like my skirt doesn't go down much farther, like it's not that short of a skirt. And so I felt this tug and I like whip around thinking it's one of my friends or something. And I'm just kind of standing there in shock. So I'm like, here's this woman I don't know who just came up and touched my bare butt. Like, I have no clue who this is. And like, not even the physical side of things, but mentally, like I'm struggling so much with. And for her to come up and do that and make me feel even more insecure in my own body is outrageous to me. So she came up, did that, and then she touches me, or she does that, and then she says, you're underage, you should probably hide that. If you think I'm underage, why are you touching a minor at all? Especially if you think I don't have underwear on.
Yeah, the logic wasn't there.
No.
For me. That's why I was wondering when you mentioned that you thought she might be drinking, I thought there's a judgment issue maybe going on too.
Right. And then she came back up a second time after we came up. Our other friend, fun fact, same name, she was standing right next to her, and the second time she came up, she touched both their hips and squeezed them, like pinched us, and said she was going to call Child Protective Services if she saw them.
And then the rest was on video.
I saw the video, and I think 57,000 other people saw it too.
Yeah.
When the first time, so she never said anything, you turned around, when the first touch, was that just skirt or was that your body?
No, that was my body and my skirt. So it was like, I had like
shorts
under
on
like
underneath.
that, but she had gone up my shorts. Like she was up there.
The next day, Ida returns to the police station, but this time, she's not getting away so easily.
Okay, so I told you I'd do a full investigation if they came forward, right? So they came forward with their side of the story, I only had yours. After listening to everything Tortelli about everything going on, I've talked to Sakura, I got some of their video, I've got the TikToks, I think most everybody in the city has that TikTok. And then we've got your statement, her statement, so I'll try to make it as unbiased and fair as I can, right? I do have some concerns from what I've been told by them. Obviously, some things you've also told to me, right? Even when we talk, two wrongs don't make a right, when we were talking about that, I said, there's criminal behavior that's happened, regardless. And the other aspect was, if she was exposed and there was a lewdness aspect, would I investigate it? Absolutely. And that was the other claim, right? Those are two little things. The electronic communication harassment we've addressed. Everything that's come in now is going to be from who knows where. They even mentioned that I don't even live in the country, some of these text messages that you're getting. If anything comes in further, you're probably going to have to report that to Santa Clara where you live for the electronic side, because that's going to be now an internet-related crime that's not related.
Well, it's happening while I'm at work, like during business hours while I'm at work, which is why you
in the city?
Yeah.
Where are you working?
So I had my concerns from the get-go. And I'm going to just be straight up with you because this is kind of where we're at. I have some questions and some statements, but I'm going to advise you your rights because of the severity of what the claims were. Okay?
Right, and of course, you're going to get their perspective because they were not behind her. They didn't see her, right? And so...
And you're also sitting down looking up, right?
Well, I, as an adult, right? But the little 10-year-old that was next to me is actually even lower than I am. But her skirt was hiked up, and no one, I think, that was sitting behind her will deny that it was beyond just her little crease. She was like exposing her whole, like, I'm telling you, could see everything. I would not have pulled down her skirt to cover her.
Gotcha.
Like, you know.
Okay, let's get through it really as fast as we can, and then moving on. So,
Ida has read her Miranda rights before the officer gets into more serious questioning. Let's see how that goes.
From the get-go, I know this was a situation where if you do see something inappropriate, and it is inappropriate, call us. Correct, right?
Right.
And there's a 10-year-old boy that you need to protect, and his dad sitting next to him, you're not his mother. And even if you even more reason for us to call us, and let's work together, and we'll open up a case, if that's the case, right? You mentioned that you saw this girl's whole, you told me you saw
the
greases, all of the above.
Yeah.
The girl has sent me a video of her twirling in that skirt, photos of the skirt. She was wearing underwear and shorts underneath her underwear.
She was
also
She does not have, she was not wearing, I don't know when that video was taken or.
same outfit.
Right, of course, but, I mean, was it at the time when everything was exposed? Probably not.
You're telling
She
me
wasn't twirling in.
You're telling me you saw her skin.
You could see, yes, you could actually see, like, the whole.
So in your video, in all the videos and all of your statements in those videos, and to her and through messages, salt and ass cheeks. I shouldn't have to see your ass. So why you say that instead of I shouldn't have to see your vagina? That's a very much different thing to say.
Do you want me to put out there into the whole world that I saw her vagina?
I don't want you to touch her first off.
Well,
So then you approach her, right? And she reports that she felt your cold hands on her buttocks.
which is,
And also, the sexual battery code is overclothing or underclothing. Those are areas, that's like me touching your bra and saying I didn't throw you.
okay, I did not touch her skin, and
But do you understand the claims?
I understand the claims,
And I
but.
understand it's very inappropriate to approach her in the first place. We already addressed that a million times.
Right.
I was also concerned when you said, why didn't you call the cops? You said, because they were taking too long.
No,
So
that was
you-
my communication.
But why not
to you.
say to the dad, hey, how about we move this 10-year-old away from us if that's the case? I mean, starters, right? Before you approach somebody and touch them.
Well, no, intent is everything, and I wasn't intending
Intent
to
is
sexually
nothing.
harass
Intent is
her.
nothing for the victim. Intent is everything for you. But that's not how, if I walked up behind you and I thought your skirt was short and I tugged on it, you would be like, why are you touching me? For any reason ever. Everybody has at least an expectation of privacy, and if it's inappropriate, that's why when you have a job, call us.
Right, but
Please, like,
at
we will
that
address
point, there was, as I'm sure you saw in the video, they were all starting to gather and mob in, so at that point,
That's
I
after you touched
did,
her.
well, that was,
They wouldn't have done that if you didn't approach her. Do you know what I mean?
Ida continues spouting off her excuses when the officer decides it's time to be direct with the 49-year-old.
You took action on this. There was no incident. You created it. You put it into action. The consequences of your actions have been all of this. This has nothing to do with it.
well, because that's because she's saying that I did I sexually harassed her, I sexually assaulted her. I did not sexually assault her, I attempted to cover up what I thought she
did.
Right,
Why did you think that it was appropriate
because-
to touch anyone?
No, I didn't.
You should know the highest. And when you're saying, I work for the state, I'm this and that, I'll do this, that you're airing out that for, you can be held to a little higher standard like me.
Okay, but
You're
nobody has
doing
video
this.
of us just sitting
You
down
have the
before the
responsibility.
incident. But
I
that's,
have the video. So,
of me sitting, like before the incident
I
ever,
don't disagree.
before the incident,
So she
yeah.
also said that you approached her and pulled it down before talking to her. You said you talked to her first.
Right, I was trying to talk to her, yes.
After you pulled her skirt.
Well, I covered her
Do you
up.
understand how a reasonable person would be like, I was just touched? No conversation before that. And then I didn't ask her
She was a
questions.
high school
I didn't ask her.
student with
That's worse.
the rest of all
That's
the
what I mean.
women
It's
there.
worse. That makes it worse for me. I don't like that. The other part is I didn't completely unprovoked. She calls me and she's like, I have to report something that's been happening. And she gives me the details of what happened. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense now that I have both sides. That's very concerning. Now, typically with something like this where I don't have video, if I didn't have video footage, it'd probably be going a different route with this because there's video footage, because of the claims made, and I have to protect victims. Today, you're going to be placed under arrest for sexual battery. Okay? So that's the unfortunate side of all this.
You're arresting me?
Yeah, right now you are under arrest, okay? So just face my sergeant, you put your hand behind your back.
Don't reach in your purse, please.
No, I was just trying to put that.
The officer has heard enough and places Ida under arrest.
Just follow those instructions.
I'm just relaxing answer.
Do you have any vehicle here?
Yeah, I did.
Is something that
No,
We can keep it
you need
protected.
to call, come get your car?
I'm sorry, what?
Is there somebody we can call for you to have them come pick up your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Who is it you want to call?
Probably my 17-year-old is at home. So,
Control.
Just double lock them so they don't cinch your button.
212, please.
That way they won't cinch on. I know it's unfortunate, Ida, but what should I do?
well, I
These
mean,
are the facts of the
honestly,
case.
I was honestly thinking she was a minor, and she should probably keep it covered because of the kids that were.
But also, a minor to minor is a lot different than an adult to a minor. It'd be worse if she was an adult, no?
Well, no, I was looking at it from a mother's perspective. Like,
I'm gonna document this for you. Still correct me as your statement.
Your lights on.
My lights. Light.
Okay.
What do you have any type of pocket? I don't.
yeah, I do.
I'll just search those instead of going
I don't
to
have
pull
anything.
everything. You don't have anything concealed on you that's illegal? No drugs, guns, bombs, that kind of stuff? Wearing a bra?
Yeah.
Nothing in your bra?
No.
Okay, they go through a body scanner, so just tell everybody that. I'm not concerned with you shooting me in the back of the head. Are you gonna do that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I
These are
honestly
just
like.
standard questions we have to ask everybody.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I'd do a full search on you, but I understand
Yeah.
the circumstances here, so. You can just walk this way. Don't want you to fall though.
If you want to hang on to it here,
Yeah.
I'll take that stuff over to the car so she can verify that it's locked in her car.
This is so unfortunate because honestly,
Let's come over to my rear passenger. These ones work so I don't have to reach over. You just slide in with backwards is the easiest.
oh, I actually can get in.
Okay, watch your hands. Thanks. What's that?
Ida was taken to jail and booked for Class A sexual battery that court records show was later lowered to a Class B misdemeanor after the 49-year-old accepted a plea deal. As part of the agreement, Ida entered a plea in abeyance, meaning no sentence will be imposed for a year as long as she complies with the terms, including having no contact with the victim, committing no crimes, and undergoing a mental health evaluation. The 49-year-old also reportedly lost her job at the Utah Attorney General's office after the incident.